This video is made as a prerequisite for the topic laser beam welding. Here we discuss the physics of laser and its classification. The word laser is a short form of the term light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. And the stimulated emission concept was first given by Einstein in 1970. The first laser was realized as a ruby laser, and that was a solid state laser, and it was developed by Meyman in the year 1960. Let us discuss the features of an ordinary light and a laser beam. In ordinary light, it contains many wavelengths, and it is multidirectional, and it is incoherent. But on the other hand, the laser is monochromatic. It has got directional stability, and it is coherent. Monochromatic means the light will concentrate in a narrow range of wavelengths. That means almost the same wavelength. That is, one specific color is present in one laser. Then on the other hand, the coherent means all the emitted photons bear a constant phase relationship with each other in both time and phase. And the directional means a very tight beam which is very strong and concentrated. The property of coherence can be explained using this picture. And first we will consider an incoherent light waves. Incoherent light waves contains waves having different wavelengths, and you can see that the phase of the wavelengths also different. But in coherent light waves, all the waves having a same, almost the same wavelength, and the phase difference is also matching. So these kind of sources, and also the amplitude is also same. So both the wavelength amplitudes are the same, then the phase is also the same. Then we can tell that this is a coherent source of light. The principle of laser contains three important terms. That is, one is absorption, another one is spontaneous emission, then stimulated emission. So in the coming slides, we will see one by one. First, we will consider the stimulated absorption, or simply it can be told as an absorption. Using this picture, we can explain the absorption. So this one is the energy level 1, that is the ground state of an electron. We assume that here we have got an electron at the ground stage. That is means the energy level is less. Okay, and another level is E2, that is a higher energy level. So the first absorption means we are supplying some energy to this electron by means of a photon or a light source. So by hitting that light source to the electron, that will absorb that energy, then its energy level will be increased to this level E2. So this process is known as absorption or stimulated. The second term is spontaneous emission. Here at the beginning, our electron is located here and at the higher energy level. But the problem with this level is that this is highly unstable. It can't be we can't keep the electron at this point for a long time. So some fraction of seconds it will be kept over this energy level 2. But after that it will come down to the ground level. So this is highly unstable. So because of that one, the electron will come again to the ground level, that is E1. So by this it will emit the stored energy as in the form of a photon, and the energy is h nu, and we will get this photon as an output. Actually, this photon is constituting the laser. The spontaneous emission is considered as a random process. That means it is not a controllable process, it is randomly happening. Another term is stimulated emission. This is also an emission. It is also happening when an electron is at the level 2 and it is coming down to the level 1. But in this case, it is not randomly happen. Actually, we are triggering this operation by a incoming photon. So an incoming photon with a certain energy level is coming and it will be hitting with this excited electron. When it is hitting with this excited electron, that will be that emission will be triggered, and that will come to the level 1. By that, it will emit one photon of energy h nu, and plus it will be added with the incoming photon with the h nu, so that will be the second one. So we will get two photons at a time by this process, stimulated emission process. This stimulated photon have unique properties, just like it will be in phase with the incident photon, same wavelength as the incident photon, and same direction as incident photon. So these all three characteristics are matching with the characteristics of a laser. So this process, that is stimulated emission, is actually the key of producing the laser. Apart from the terms already discussed, we need another stage that is known as the metastable stage. That is, the metastable state is present in between the ground state and the excited state of the electron. Why we need this metastable stage? Okay, so that will be explained in the next slide. So the metastable state is an intermediate state between the ground state and the excited state. Here we explain the necessity of this metastable state, and the metastable state is actually required for an important process in the production or making of laser, that is the population inversion. So that will be explained with this picture. So we know that this is the ground state, that is a lower level energy level, and by this excitation, we are actually making this one to the, by absorbing the energy, this electron is reaching to the stage that is the level 1. Okay, but we know that this is a highly unstable state, so it can be, we can't hold a more number of electrons over there for a long time. So the time is nearly 10 raised to minus 7 seconds only. So it will come down. If we are not providing this metastable state like this, it will come down directly to the ground level and it will emit the photons. But that photons are not sufficient to have, not sufficient to produce the required amount of energy or required amount of laser beam with our required energy. So we need a large number of electrons to be there for making a beam of electrons, a beam of photons as laser. So we are actually constructing a intermediate state, and that is known as the metastable state. So from the state 1, that is the excited state, it will come down to the metastable state. The property of metastable state is like that it can hold the electrons to a greater time, that is around 10 raised to minus 3 seconds. So we can have a more number of electrons than the excited stage in metastable stage. And by stimulated emission and by spontaneous emission, we can have a larger number of emissions from this metastable state, because a number of electrons are more in this state. So we will get a more number of photons as an output. So that is the requirement of making a required amount of laser with a required amount of energy. In laser components, we have got three essential components are required for production of laser for all setup. So first is a gain medium, second one is a pumping medium, and third one is a resonator. We discuss all these laser requirements, that is the laser components, with the help of this picture. And this one is a example of a solid state laser, and the name is Nd:YAG laser. Okay. It is an Nd:YAG laser. It's a solid state laser, and this is our laser medium. We are using a crystal of Nd:YAG, and in ruby laser we will use a rod of ruby, and here Nd:YAG means we are using a rod of Nd:YAG crystal, and that is our laser medium. Because this laser medium, the electrons of this laser medium is actually used for producing the laser, because the electrons are actually, we are actually pumping to the higher level, then the simulated emission, everything is happening in this laser medium. Then next is the pump source or pumping medium. So pump source means we needed to excite this electron. So the excitation, we need some energy. So that energy is given by pump source. Most of the times we are using flashlights for giving that particular energy for excitation, and that is known as the pump source. And finally, this is the optical resonator. So optical resonator is a tube which contains two mirrors. One mirror will be a highly reflective mirror, and another will be a partially reflective mirror. So initially some laser will be generated that will be reflected back from this this mirror, and it will be again hitting this mirror. So it will be circulated or reciprocated through this lazy medium for several times. When it is moving by these several times, what will happen? This will be actually making a source of stimulated emission. So that will trigger more photons, and it will be strengthened. Whenever the strength of the beam is above the required level, that will come out through the partially reflective mirror as our laser output. So that is the function of optical resonator. In types of laser, these are actually classified according to various classes. One is according to sources. According to sources, it is classified as solid state, or otherwise known as crystalline lasers, then gas lasers, semiconductor lasers, liquid lasers, etc. Then according to nature of emission, we have got continuous wave or pulsed wave laser. According to their wavelength, it is visible region, infrared, ultraviolet, microwave, X-ray region. Then according to different levels, that is how many metastable states are there, or how many levels of energy we are constructing. This 2-level laser, 3-level laser, 4-level laser, etc. 2-level is actually not common. 3-level and 4 levels are very common. Then according to mode of pumping devices, we can have optical pumping, chemical pumping, electric discharge pumping, or electrical pumping. The various application of laser. The application of laser consists of important one is in medical, then entertainment, just like CD players, DVD players, video game systems, then of course in telecommunication systems, and military weapons, radar, etc. And finally the industry. So our concentration is on industry, and we are actually studying the laser beam welding, where the laser beam is used to produce the required heat for the welding, that is the fusion welding. In the second part of this video, we will discuss about the laser beam welding. Thank you for watching.